Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Lone Wolf 902. And today, more like this evening actually, because it's almost dark. I've been out here for about an hour now and the rain has come in. Raining quite a bit. It's supposed to rain all night. So I'm out tonight in an open tarp shelter. I got my down bag, I got my down mat already set up on top of my ground sheet, which is really nice. So this is where we're going to be spending the night tonight. So I got some food to cook, and like I said, it's going to be dark shortly, so I'm going to scurry out and gather up some bits of firewood. And I'm going to have the fire out away from the front door just to make sure no sparks or flames kind of make their way inside. So we'll be sitting a little, maybe 15 feet away from the tarp. And yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty decent night. I'm going to leave the tarp open all night. So we'll be basically sleeping out in the wilderness for real. No being boxed up inside of a tent or being boxed up in a hammock. Tonight's going to be wide open. We're going to have a nice breeze coming through. Now I did point the shelter this way because the wind is coming from this way. So hopefully it'll hit the back and scoop right up and over. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I've been wanting to do this for a little while now. My last tarp camping video, well, it was in the wintertime and the tarp was all boxed up. So I've been really wanting to get out and actually film an open tarp shelter for quite a while now, and tonight is the night. So let's get some firewood and let's get on with the night, because I did not bring a stove, I didn't bring anything. All my cooking has to be done with a fire. So firewood is definitely a must. Alright, so I got all my firewood for the night, kind of off to the side there, and I don't need enough firewood for heat, because it's actually about 5 degrees, plus 5 degrees Celsius right now, so it's quite warm. Our temperature has been fluctuating up and down like crazy, so today is it's a rather warm day. Warmish, I should say. Tonight's supposed to dip down to about 0 degrees. So I don't think we're going to get any snow, unfortunately. I was really hoping for snow, but maybe next time. But it's getting dark pretty quick, so, and it's about 4 o'clock. So I'm getting a little hungry and I don't have a stove like I already said. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm looking at just in front of the tarp, not for a big fire, just for a little tiny fire to put my pot on. I think I could go ahead and do that right there, as long as I'm really careful, because it's going to be in in between two of my guy lines that are holding my tarp up. So if anything is miscalculated or goes wrong, it's gonna go wrong in a bad way. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get 2 pieces of pine. I got a lot of spruce and pine over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take 2 logs, put them down side by side, fill the middle, light that on fire, and then get the fire rocking, and then I'll be able to put my pot in the coals and kind of on top of those 2 spruce logs. So let's go ahead and do that. And got my fire steel and stuff right here actually. So let's go ahead and do that. And I got a pack of ramen for tonight, and I'm going to spice it up a little bit with some vegetables. So that is supper. Nothing big, nothing fancy, just enough to kind of tie me over till morning. Morning I got a bunch of oatmeal, I got some more ramen, and a bunch more vegetables too. So let's get the fire going, and might even crack into a beer. I don't know. See what's going on. I'm gonna be trapped in here for the evening, so yeah, maybe that's what we'll do. We'll get the fire going, crack a beer, and wait a little bit till that fire dies down. We get the pot on there and get cooking. All right, so for my fire, I don't really want to venture far hunting for birch bark because I'm just going to get soaked, and that's not going to be fun tonight, sleeping in wet clothes. So I've got some jute twine that I've had kicking around in my backpack, and I got a few pieces of it, so I want to go ahead and use this for my tinder. I'm just kind of fluffing it up right now. The dried spruce and pine that I got is actually really dry, so I don't think this will be too difficult to get going with a couple little feather sticks and some jute twine to get it going. I think we'll be okay, and we should have a fire rather quickly actually. So off camera, when I was collecting the firewood, the firewood was underneath my tripod a little bit, and I pulled on it thinking that it would be able to come out no problem without knocking the camera over, and it actually did knock the camera over, and I actually broke the plastic clip on my microphone. So I'm not really happy about that right now. Now mind you, I ordered 2 last week, and I think I kind of jinxed myself because I was looking at it and I was thinking, you know, in the wintertime those are going to get really cold and really brittle, and they're probably going to snap, and I don't really want to be without it's just the plastic part that holds the microphone above my camera mount, so it actually holds the microphone really. So I went ahead and ordered 2 of them. They're like 15 bucks on Amazon. They should be here within a week. Now hopefully they're actually here with Christmas rush and all that stuff going on. Otherwise I'm going to have to pull out the duct tape and rig it up. So not too happy with that, but we'll put it behind us, and good thing that I ordered 2. So anyways, we got our big ball of jute fluff, got my fire steel. Let's go ahead and make some feather sticks and get the fire going. All right. Kind of running out of room to film here underneath this tarp. But I'm going to go ahead and get some water in the pot and get that over the fire. Get those noodles cooked up. And like I said, I got some veggies in here. So might as well go ahead and cut these up as well. So I'm going to go ahead and toss in a couple mushrooms here. Now I got a bunch of stuff in this bag. I got some green onions, some pepperoni slices, a piece of cheese, red pepper, yellow pepper, orange pepper. I got kind of a mixed bag of a whole bunch of stuff. So we'll get these all cut up, add them in our ramen. Kind of a makeshift setup right now. The fire is a little bit bigger than I'm comfortable having next to my tarp. Unfortunately, it's already there. I can't really do much about it. Let it die down a little bit, I guess. But where it's raining, I'm having to build the fire up to get it going and then let it die down. So far everything seems to be going okay. I hope it stays that way. I don't want any sparks kind of making their way over to my tarp. Alright, I think that'll do for tonight. I'm not super hungry. And like I said, I got some pepperoni slices in here. I got a piece of cheese. I also got a pepperoni stick that I can snack on later on and I don't have to cook. So set those off to the side and get these noodles on. Alright, noodles are on the fire. It is soaking wet out here. Rain's coming in pretty hard. And I gotta say, I should have brought a bigger tarp. Now, the actual tarp itself, if I were to pitch it down and close it up, I wouldn't have any problems. The only problem I'm having is the length of the ridge. So the top of the tarp, not the actual points of where the doors go, but the actual top of the ridge is basically the same length as my sleeping pad and my sleeping bag. So what's happening is the point of where the door is, this part, the rain is actually going down and it can actually hit the foot end of my sleeping bag and the head end of my sleeping bag. Now, I pushed the head end of my sleeping bag and the whole tarp underneath the tree that I'm tied to. So it's quite dry on this side, but on this side it's getting quite wet. So I'm going to stick with going ahead and leaving it open for the night. But as a backup plan, if I really desperately do need to kind of shut it and zip the end doors shut, I can do that. But I'm going to battle it out. I'm going to leave it just as it is right now. And I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be alright. Doesn't look too bad. As long as I stay kind of pushed towards the back of the shelter, I think I'll be okay. So that's where we're at right now. It is getting quite dark out. Very dark actually. So this is basically going to be it for the night, I think, on this video. Kick around the fire and maybe do a little bit of writing in my book. And sip on a couple beer and just enjoy the rain. I think that fire, the size it is right now, will actually be perfect for the night. So I may leave it there and just kind of stick little punky pieces of wet wood on it to keep the flames down. But enough to have that ambient light. And there is a little bit of heat actually rolling inside of the tarp shelter. So as long as the wind stays that way and we don't have any issues, I will leave the fire there. But as soon as we start having issues, I might have to kind of kick it out, bump it over a little further. But for now, this is actually pretty cozy and I'm really comfortable. Other than, like I said, the ends of the tarps. So I think we'll be all right though. Alright, it is dinner time. I gotta say, this smells awesome for such a simple meal. Ramen. Can't go wrong with ramen, especially on a wet, rainy day. Kind of tuck under the tarp, hide from the rain, eat some good food. Ooh, that's hot. So I want to go ahead and eat up, and I'll bring you guys back as soon as I'm done. Whew. All right. Supper was pretty good. Pretty simple, pretty quick, and easy to cook. So, just kind of hanging out underneath the tarp right now. Got my headlamp on. I hope that is actually showing up in the camera. I don't do a lot of filming at nighttime. Usually nighttime's kind of my chill time where I relax and do my camping rather than my filming. So this is a little bit different for me, and I don't have a lot of lights. Like, I don't bring a lot of filming lights and stuff like that. I don't like to see that. I like to see the glow from the campfire. So hopefully this is actually working out and you can actually see me. I'll check in a couple of clips and make sure, and if it is, I'll keep going. But the tarp seems to be doing okay now. It's not raining as hard as it was earlier, but definitely a thought for next time, because usually I use this tarp in the snow, and the snow is not really that big of a deal. I mean, if the snow gets on the end of your sleeping bag, brush it off, kick it off, whatever. But rain is a whole different ball game. So, oh, I did hang my food tonight, where it is kind of, it's not too cold. So I didn't, and I'm in an open shelter, so I don't really want to have my food down here and having raccoons come in and kind of sniff my face and all that stuff. Been there, done that, not fun. And I should mention that I'm actually sleeping literally right on a deer trail. So this clearing running this way, and well, sorry, how about I look at the camera and do this? So my tarp is pitched this way and the deer trail goes this way. So more than likely at some point throughout the night, I'm probably gonna have something walk into one of my guy lines or the back of my tarp, and hopefully that doesn't cause any issues. But I am camped right on a deer trail, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes. And yeah, pretty cozy. I actually feel the heat from the fire from here, and I'm about 10 feet away, so that's kind of pleasant. Yep, gonna kick back and enjoy my brew. What do we got here? Oatmeal stout. That's a good one. Oh. Well, if anything, if there's not a whole lot of filming tonight, I think I'll end up with some great photos. So, I already took a few kind of down the trail looking back at the tarp, and they actually look pretty decent. So once I get home and load them in a Lightroom, I'm sure I'll be able to pull some magic out of them. So one thing I did bring with me tonight, which I bring with me pretty much every winter camping trip, is a candle. Now, I've gone and rigged this candle up with kind of an interesting piece of equipment. I'll get a close-up on this, but what I've done is I took a regular candle and one of those emergency candles and a steel tent peg, and I found this aluminum clamp. It's almost like a bike seat post clamp, and it's got another spot where like a rod can go through and clamp down at two at the same time. So I went ahead and rigged up a candle to this aluminum piece and then a tent peg. Now I can go ahead and stick it into the ground and I got a candle. So that's a pretty neat little piece of kit. It weighs basically nothing. I mean, the weight of the candle, but this clamp is just aluminum, and this metal tent peg, we all know how much one metal tent peg is. It's not really much to throw in your bag. I mean, you could replace it with a titanium tent peg if you really wanted to, or a stick when you're out in the woods, but I thought that was a pretty nifty little setup. Stick it in the ground, light your candle, you got light. So I'm gonna go ahead and burn this later on tonight when I do decide to go to sleep. What I'll do is I'll stick it, ooh, rain. I'll go ahead and I'll stick it down here next to this pole that's kind of holding up the center. And, well, let's go ahead and stick it in there right now, actually. So I'll put it right there, and that'll burn safely for about four to 6 hours, I think those burn for. So that'll be a nice little night light, so I'm not burning my headlamp batteries. And yeah, just a neat little piece of kit that I kind of came up with. Oh. Woo. Morning, guys. It's about 6:30 in the morning right now. Still dark out, but it's time to get up. Oh man, that was a wild night. As you can hear, it's still raining. Oh, that light is crazy bright. Yeah, so last night was wild. Man. Torrential rain. Absolute downpour with rain. Wind. Crazy amount of wind. I thought that some of these trees were actually going to fall over. That's how windy it was. And everything held up really well. I got a little bit of rain that kind of blew in from the side, so I got my pack cover on, and the very, very foot end of my sleeping bag is a tiny bit wet. Just on the outside, it didn't soak all the way through, just on the outer shell. But still alive, so that was pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, I gotta say, nice, beautiful, fluffy sleeping bag. And yeah, one thing that was really weird was laying right up against the tarp. Now this tarp is completely dry on the inside, and usually you never sleep up against your tarp or your tent wall because condensation and leaks through and whatnot. Where I'm in an open shelter, there's so much air coming through, there's really zero condensation. So what that allowed me to do was back my body right up against my my tarp. Now my leg and foot's on it, so I could feel the tapping of the rain through the tarp actually hitting my foot and my leg. And it took me a little bit to get used to that, because usually when you feel the tapping of the rain, it's, hey, get out of the way, you're getting wet. So it took me a little bit to get used to that, but all in all, I had a pretty good night. Now, one task that I have to do, where it's still dark out, I gotta use the light obviously, but one task I mentioned yesterday is I don't have a stove. No canister stove, no alcohol stove, nothing. So I gotta light a fire. Now, I'm not sticking around for too long. I'll probably be here for another 3 hours, 4 hours maybe. So I'm just gonna light a small fire, pretty much just outside of the tarp. Very, very small. And keep a very close eye on it. But basically I'm just gonna light a tiny fire, enough for my pot to make coffee, and maybe a pack of ramen if I'm not even hungry right now, but I probably should cook it just to get it in me. So we'll have to baton some wood, get some feather sticks going. I do have some more jute twine, a little piece of it kicking around here. Yep, so I got a little bit of jute twine. Get the fire steel and make a little fire just underneath the tarp and get some morning coffee on, because it's still breezy. It is wet. Oh man. Got a little puddle of water up here actually. Yeah, it was a wet one. Warm, very warm. I gotta say, I didn't get wet. I'm dry and I'm crazy warm. I was actually starting to sweat a little bit more towards 5 o'clock in the morning. I kind of woke up and looked around. I was like, man, it's hot. But anyways, I'm gonna crawl out of the bag and get my shoes on and get some firewood. Well, not get firewood. I'm just gonna take the last night before I went to bed. I brought in a couple long log pieces, and I set them underneath the tarp. Now the exterior of them is completely soaked, but as soon as I split into them, they're dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and baton those down and get some feather sticks, and let's get some coffee on the go, because I need coffee bad. Alright, so a little bit of a change of plans. It's not raining that bad right now, it's just kind of drizzling, so instead of doing the fire in front of the door of the tent or under the tarp like I was saying, I'm just going to go ahead and do it in the fire pit that I had last night. If anything, I can light the fire, crawl back under, put my pot, you know, do that stuff, and then come back in and let it cook in the rain. So, like I said, I got a couple pieces of pine that I put in here. I'm going to cut these in half, and then I'm going to baton them down and get my fire going with that. So this is just going to be a cooking fire. I don't need it for heat. Just need it for cooking coffee and a pack of ramen. Alright, so that fire took off pretty quick. No real issues there. So, got my coffee kit in my cup. Go ahead and get that water on real quick, actually. Get some hot water on the go. Probably have 1 or 2 coffees. And like I said, I got the pack of ramen as well, so go ahead and throw a lot of water in there for now. And get this guy on fire. Alright, so we'll let that cook away. I've already got my coffee portioned out in my little glass containers that you guys have seen in all my other videos. So, go ahead and pour one in here. It's a little damp, so it's kind of clumped together. That's not good. Yeah, there it goes. There it goes. All right. Sugar. And a bit of whitener. And I still got another coffee, another sugar, and half the whitener left. So probably do 2 coffees, kick back and relax a little bit. Whew. Ugh. The one bonus with today and yesterday is it is warm outside. Now last night it went down to 2 degrees. It got really chilly because we went from, well, I can't even remember what it was. I said it earlier on in the video, but we went from a warmer temperature down to +2 degrees, and with all the wetness and the rain, that cold really sunk in here. And I mean, I stayed warm. I was inside the down bag here, stayed really nice and warm, and I didn't have any issue sleeping, but the outside temperature sure dipped down pretty low. So I just remembered that I packed a few packs of oatmeal, and instead of doing ramen, I'm gonna do oatmeal. So I got loads of water in here, nice piping hot. My coffee's actually way too hot to drink right now, especially in that titanium cup. So I'll let it sit for a few moments, work on this oatmeal. 2 packs of apple cinnamon, 1 pack of brown sugar. That is how we do oatmeal. Even the bags are a little damp to the touch on the outside. Everything got soaked in this forest. Absolutely everything. All right, coffee and oatmeal. Let that soak in there, get nice and plump. Whew. This little sip, see how dangerous hot it is. Yeah, it's hot. Whew. That's hot. But I can't stop. All right, we'll stop for a minute. Whew. So, been bumping around camp for about half hour now. Just kind of picking up those scraps of wood, putting them on the fire. Letting it burn out because I'm not going to be here for much longer, so I don't really want to be fighting not that I need a fight to put it out. I mean, it's pouring with rain, but anyways, I'm going to finish up my coffee and I'm going to slowly start packing up some of my stuff here. I'm going to get my sleeping bag and my down mat packed away. All my soft goods packed away in my pack, and then everything else will eventually make its way in, and the last thing will be the tarp, which is completely soaked. So I'm going to ball it up, jam it in the stuff sack, and I'm going to hang it on the outside of my pack. That way everything in the pack will be dry and everything outside will be wet. Alright, so I think it's that time to start getting packed up. Rain's getting heavier, off and on. I'd much rather do it now than have to rush and get it all packed up at the very end. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my soft goods, like I was saying earlier, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, get all that packed away inside my bag, and then slowly pick away on the heavier stuff. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for clicking on the video. I have loads of other videos if you guys are new to the channel, so go ahead and check out some of those if you're interested. And I'm out of here. All right, peace out, guys.